One more time for the pod.
One more time for the pod. Right, so discipline leads to habits. Your habits, what you end up doing every day, is what leads to the consistent results. And the consistency, if you stick to it, is what's going to lead to your growth. Everyone, welcome back.
Hello.
Welcome back to another week.
I'm Charlotte.
I'm Billie. Nice to see you all again, joining us for another week of growing together.
Yes, we are.
So this week, I thought we would switch up. We've done a lot on parenting lately. So I want to talk more business. Habits that make you better in business. Like, what can we share with our audience that's helped you be successful, continue to stay successful, and what do you do in business that's like more of like a habit?
Yeah. This is my experience, because obviously I think there's going to be things that are going to come up in the future that are going to change that. Does that make sense? But up to now, you know, because I think
things
a lot
that are like more rituals and like things
and I think
that
a lot
people
goes
can
on
do.
experience too of your own business. Do you know what I mean? Maybe mine might be different to yours. We will see.
Yeah.
But for me, the big one for me is staying relevant. I want to stay up to date with the newest of technologies, techniques, you know, all these different courses that are coming up, that I'm interested in. You know, I want to be interested. I still want to be interested in it. To be able to offer the best of the best to my patients. Do you know what I mean? And I still find it so interesting, and you know, which is good when you're
still passionate.
Yeah, really, really passionate of stuff. So yeah, that would be my biggest one, is to stay relevant.
Because I guess that impacts the service that you give to your clients, and if you're behind, then yeah, you could potentially, like, the service level that you're giving kind of
and don't get me wrong,
dwindles.
Some patients don't want all that. Some patients don't want all that. They like the basic thing that's worked for years, let's just say. Some patients don't. Some patients want to try them and test them, and you know, even if they don't continue with them, or they think, oh, that does work for me, I'm going to keep with that. People want it, you know what I mean? Some people don't. So I think it's good just to stay relevant with everyone that you can offer your work to, basically. Another one would probably be, don't be complacent. I think I certainly probably got to a time when I was like, oh, this is it now. You know, I'm done, that's it. I can relax. I'm not saying you can't relax, but
but you're seeing your efforts and your calendar's quite booked up.
Yeah, don't be lazy. I think we mentioned it before with, I offer like a recall system. So, and we were saying with each other, with even ourselves, with our nails and things like that, it does help when people are reminded to book in and things like that. And I think if I was to leave that and to stop that, over time, I would see that my diary would slowly just be getting gappy, which is what I don't want.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So in that side
So a
of
habit you've built in is to spend time doing that.
Even if my diary is Ramo, I'd still stick with my recalls. You know, not thinking, oh, it's all right, my diary's full. No. Stick with them recalls. Stick with them patients as well that, you know, are waiting for that reminder too. Do you know what I mean? They like that service.
But like we said, sometimes that is the reminder you need to keep on top of it.
Exactly.
And especially, so how often do you recommend to get it clean?
It depends on the patient. So obviously with my records, it depends on the patient. Their reminder would get set to either...
So you set the reminder?
Yeah, it depends on the patient to what their oral hygiene and their situation is like, to what then I would recommend. So,
but it's not a monthly thing, is it?
No, it'd be either 3, 6 or 12. Yeah. Average is 6 or 12.
So...
That's twice or once
That's a lot of time that's passing before people remember, oh, I'm due again. Yeah. Because, you know, when that much time passes, it's hard for you to remember.
Yeah.
And it's not really something you diarise yourself.
No.
So it is relying on you. And I think that is a huge business technique that so many people don't do. Like, I've been watching The Fixer, which is a guy called Marcus, I can't remember his surname, but he was in another show that me and Liam used to watch, a business show. I can't remember what his other show was called. But basically, he's a huge successful businessman. He comes into a business and he basically fixes people, process or product. And that's his advice. Always on those three things, because that's always basically something that people are doing wrong. And it can completely 180 a business. And then he basically also invests in, you know, fixing those things, like, I'll invest and I want this much of the business. And then, you know, they become business partners. But doing that, like, so and watching the show, so many people just let their customer data just go.
Yeah.
Like people come in and go out and you've not captured who they are, when they maybe should come and see you again. Because sometimes, like I say, people are happy for you to contact and book back in. But if you don't do that for me, I'm not going to bother.
Yeah.
So there's so much cash left on the table when you don't organise and keep on top of your clients.
And exactly that. And don't get me wrong, with me, I've got the opportunity to actually ask the patients, do you want reminding? Because obviously also I don't want to waste my time on patients who don't want to invest in their health too, or aren't serious about that. Do you know?
Well, I suppose you probably have a lot of holiday makers as well, maybe.
There's a lot of but I've got a lot of people who will only come here for that.
Okay.
So there's actually like what I say, it's a good excuse to go on holiday, isn't it? Because people actually come here for me for that reason.
Well, Liam had the same. A lot of his Scandinavian clients, because it's so expensive in their country, would pre-book like a repair for when they come over, because they come here a lot. They know obviously the businesses that they use, and they book it for while they're here. Because I would never repair my phone on holiday or get my teeth cleaned when I'm on holiday.
Yeah, it's not something that you think about.
But I suppose if you have a holiday home and a holiday area and you're
here regularly,
things, or it's really expensive back at home.
Well, I've got people who come over here. They just come here maybe once a year, and they know that they get good service at a good price, and they haven't got to ag around for an appointment.
Yeah,
it's a no-brainer, isn't it?
Yeah,
and you can look at the sea.
So not being complacent, being on top of your recalls, and reaching back out to your client base.
Going on with complacent, again, it probably comes under this with the whole quality of, for me, my quality of patient care. Every one of my patients know that for whatever reason, if I'm running behind, or, this patient before maybe just taken that little bit longer for whatever the reason.
Yeah.
I'm not going to cut corners. I'm not going to quickly do them or quickly get through you so I can catch up my time.
Yeah.
I'm just going to end up being later for everyone, and my date's going to be later. That's just how I am. That's just what I do.
Yeah.
That's worked for me. Okay, some days, I'm probably working more time for what I'm earning compared to others. Yeah. But that's me, and that's my quality.
That's so that you can sleep good at night, because you know you've put everything into something.
That's just how I am. Do you know what I mean?
But I think that, especially when it's like your own business, and regardless actually whether it's your own business or not, but like the service, what people get when they leave, like it's all a customer experience at the end of the day. So if you're cutting corners and you're rushing, or she took an hour with me last time and she did me in 35 minutes this time, like that's a big difference. Or it was really rushed, and I felt that. Then it ruins that customer experience, and they're maybe not going to come back to you again.
Yeah, well, I know how I feel going into... I mean, I'm not going to sit there and do something that don't need doing to pass the time. That's not what I'm going to do. Do you know what I mean? But my point is, if the work said I'm not going to cut corners, I'm going to do exactly the same as what I'd be doing every other time, No, regardless if I'm going over. That would be my thing, is keep that quality no matter what.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy for people to say, no, you need less time. You need to do it quicker. You need to do, you keep what your
business nowadays is so much about optimizing. Like, just look at airlines, like squish as many people onto a plane as possible, give them as little like bag space as possible, and they have to book all these extra things. And the planes are in and out, like the turnover, like you don't even have pockets anymore, so that they don't have to clean up and stuff.
I could exactly that. I could even do a treatment that for these bits where you can only see or feel these bits at the front, more of an aesthetic thing. But it's not just about that. No. My job isn't about that. My job is prevention. Do you know what I mean? So that would be my thing.
Yeah.
Don't change of what you believe and who you are in any case or scenario. And even when you're saying about even if you're working for someone else or not, we've always been the same.
I was going to say, I said that, but then I was like, well, actually, I work for other people, and I still put quality in.
Exactly. I would never change how I work. And even when that boss or owner or whatever the thing doesn't appreciate that, even in their own business, of what quality and care and time and effort and energy and that you put in their business, that you're getting good results out of for your business, I would never change it. And sometimes it can make you want, oh no, I don't want to do this. And don't get me wrong, sometimes you're an absolute fucking idiot, and you just want to.
You don't deserve how good I am.
But I'd go straight into a room with a patient and just do what I do, because
that's it. I've worked with colleagues and bosses and stuff that don't appreciate or encourage sloppiness and cutting corners and things that aren't above board, and it's just never been me. I just can't, like, say, even sometimes when I think, like, I'm not paid enough for this.
Yeah.
I still can't stop myself by delivering a certain standard, which is generally above.
So that would be
I think
one
that's
thing.
what builds your reputation. And I think that's paid dividends for me in the long run.
Same. And I think...
You don't see it in the moment.
No. But and I know it's so hard to not... You know, to not think, oh, fuck that. If you're not doing it, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
But don't
I'm
let...
a bit ill today, fuck it.
Don't let people
sick.
change that. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Like, change who you are and how you go forward in what you want and
it's
how
your
you
values
work.
at the end of the day. So it's like...
Because it's easy.
It's your work ethic
don't get me
and
wrong,
it's your
it
values.
Yeah.
And generally that kind of feeds into, like, say, a little bit of work, but it's more just who you are in general. Like, I just don't half-ass things, really.
Yeah.
Like... Rarely.
Yeah.
And no, I think I totally agree with you there. You should absolutely put in quality. And like I say, it builds your reputation. You never know where that's going to lead you. If you had not really give a shit years ago, would you have half the patience that you have now? Would you have the reputation that you have now and people speak about you in the word of mouth and all of that?
Yeah.
You know, and I've been headhunted technically twice. Would I have ever had that if I had, you know, couldn't be asked, they don't appreciate me, I don't get paid enough to care that much?
Yeah.
You know, that wouldn't have led to get me to where I am today.
And not only that, then you get, I think then you, for you, I know, I could say for you, and I know you're in a business, well, I feel that you work for a business now that really appreciate you.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
I could see that, I think, on that side. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think you just, like, when you generally chit-chat about work, like, I just remember years ago, it would always be how stressed I am. Yeah. Whereas I don't seem to have that, like, negativity around when I talk about work.
Yeah.
Now.
And I loved where I was before, the situation and who I had around me, it was the best. Don't get me wrong. It was just a shame we wasn't appreciated. And I really missed that. Don't get me wrong. But where I am, again, it's different. It's a different situation. But I'm still part of another team. You know what I mean? I'm on my own team. But I am part of a team.
Yeah.
Who and they do appreciate me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying my team didn't appreciate me.
No, it was the business.
Yeah, it was generally the business who we were working for who didn't. So we certainly didn't feel it.
Yeah.
Whereas I do feel that from this company.
And that feeds through the team.
Yeah. And I feel that anyway.
Yeah. It's the culture and the environment of the company.
And it does make that difference. Don't get me wrong. I do feel it does make that difference. And so that would be that. Stick to who you are and what you want and what you are passionate about. You know, and don't give up. Yeah. Don't give up because there's people out there who are ready to take it from you, or they're ready to take it from you, or I don't know, ready to.
Well, it's that saying, like, there's people out there less talented than you, less knowledgeable than you, making more money than you because you're too scared to try, exactly. Or you give up too early.
Yeah, just you. And there's no time frame, or there's no. I don't know, what's the thing? You know, amount of salary that you should be getting. Everything's for you and your family or your life, or do you get what I'm saying? And I think if you're successful, if you feel that you're successful then you are. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Totally. Yeah. It's like being, you know, we've said it, be grateful for what you have while you're working for what you want. Yeah. And it is all about the mindset, because you can have two people earning the same. One, it's not good enough, and the other one, it absolutely is. So it's definitely mindset, because that affects everything, how you talk to yourself, the thoughts that you have. And that can be a lot of the environment that you're in. So sometimes, you know, I've had it where colleagues are, you know, winding each other up without realising about something. And it's like, take a step back, look at like what you've got and kind of appreciate that. And what you're kind of egging each other on about isn't actually that big of a deal or that negative.
Yeah. And I think going on the question of what makes
habits to make you better in business.
Yeah. I think sometimes, I mean, this is a thing of probably working for someone else, is know your worth. I mean, even not working, you know, even either way, is know your worth as well. Because sometimes you've got to step back and go, I'm going from here and start something else.
Yeah.
Does that, because
Yeah.
I think some people stay somewhere too long and actually it takes that fire out of them of where they started.
Yeah. Well, you burn out a little bit or you lose that like passion. And I've made 2-3 kind of career jumps and changes. And yeah, I think knowing your worth is really, really important because my kind of mentality growing up was work as hard as I possibly can, deliver as much results for the company, earn them as much money as possible, and they will see it and then they will then reward me. That doesn't happen.
Doesn't always work like that.
Does not happen.
And that
some do.
I was going to say, that doesn't mean you shouldn't be a hard worker and have passion and really get your head down.
Yeah.
However,
I think in everything there's always balance because I know people that expect that before they've even delivered anything, and it's like, where do you get off thinking that you deserve that when you haven't delivered anything? Yeah. And even being part of like the interview and recruitment process, people's expectations and kind of what they're asking about in interviews about how much, like, obviously you need to know what the salary is. But looking at their CV and their experience and for the role, and it's like, you're expecting near enough my salary when you've got no experience and I've got 15 years and I've delivered millions. Yeah. You're like, you need to know your worth, but you also need to be a bit realistic and
value it in the right way.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes know that you have to put in the hard work first. Yeah. But then at the same time, don't know that you've put in enough and you should get rewarded for it, and then just keep your mouth shut, because that builds resentment. And I was definitely in that position where I was like, I'm going to work hard, work, and then they will reward me for that. And then I feel like that's a better way of going about it. And it is a little bit, you should deliver to a degree, but then you should still stand up for yourself when the time comes. Yeah.
Because then did it make you feel like you didn't want to do any of it then?
Wow, I left that company soon after.
There you go. So you actually didn't want to do anything because you think, stop that.
Yeah. Well, I nearly killed myself, like, because obviously in the work that I do, you have financial years and you have monthly targets and you have yearly targets. So I was in a position where I was in a team of 3. We were given a yearly target. So I had my own personal contribution, but then like a group target as well. Midway through the year, the 2 other people left, and then was trying to like take some of the business to their other companies. So like everything that was kind of budgeted and projected based on the business that you have and that you're going to grow it, all of a sudden was even harder because we're potentially losing some businesses that we were banking on. So it was protecting that. And I did a really good job with basically losing practically none of the business that we had and keeping that in. And then, there was absolutely no real expectation of how one person can still deliver the budget of 3 people. Yeah. But that didn't stop me. I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to not only do my own, but I'm going to do the whole team's, even though we don't have a team anymore. Yep. So I went for the full delivery of the whole target. And I remember kind of saying ahead of time, because I think I'd learned a little bit that, you don't always get, what you deserve. So I kind of said to my boss at the time, like, if I do this, and really, regardless of even if I'd done it, I would have got close. So regardless. But anyway, I said, if I do this, you've saved potentially 60, 70 grand on those other people's wages and bonuses.
Because I've just done it all.
For the budget. Yeah. You budgeted to pay that much to get that much in return. And if I still deliver this, you've saved yourself a hell of a lot of money. We're talking high 5, nearly 6 figures. So anyway.
You've got people who wouldn't be bothered.
People would have straight away excuses. There's no way. It's not possible. No way. I can only do what I can do. Yeah. It's not for me to deliver that. And that would actually be very fair. But that wasn't me. I'm going to take on the challenge. All while I was studying for my master's at the same time as well. So it's not like I could have 100% focus. I was going, and my master's, it was in class as well. Yeah. So I was going present. Thursday evenings, Friday evenings, Saturday mornings. I was going and studying for my master's as well. So yeah, I did it. I delivered it like a couple of days before the end of the financial year. Saved, made them, I want to say 1.4 million, something like that. Saved them 70, 80 grand's worth of having to pay other people. Yeah. And
all these benefits for the business that you've achieved.
Yeah. And that was a massive achievement, like in
a circumstance on paper that most people would say is impossible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Still did it. Thinking like, oh yeah, they'll reward me for that.
Feeling really good with yourself as well.
Like
I fucking smashed that.
I was proud of myself.
Yeah.
I was proud of myself. And even to this day, that's probably one of my biggest achievements. And like there's no denying that. And, they were so appreciative. Oh, that's amazing. Well done. Like, acknowledged it. But financially, a couple of grand extra.
Yeah. And that's what, I'm not being funny. As much
that was a kick in the face.
Do these jobs for passion and drive and all these other things.
Yeah.
It's financially, isn't it? We go to work to have money. Come on, let's be real.
Exactly. And if I'm going to, this was pre-Kasem, if I'm going to sacrifice a lot of my evenings, no lunch breaks, extra long hours, like I only delivered that because I worked probably 12, 15 hours a day, which is way more than it was required. So it didn't come easy. Like I really sacrificed that year to really push.
But then that makes me feel that probably none of them people of that company that are obviously higher up have ever been in your role and really, really understand and appreciate what it is. Whereas I feel, especially my job, and I think you too, because you've gone for different roles in different, different job roles in different companies or whatever, is that because I started as a receptionist, I've done every role. Yeah. I've done every role possible. Yeah. So no one can come back at me and say, do you know what I mean? You don't know how it is, because I've done everything, actually. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I've cleaned and mopped and scrubbed the windows, and I've done everything. Do you know what I mean? So, and I think that makes me a better person of my position of where I am as well.
Totally.
Because I know, this isn't a dig to dentists, but as a dentist, you're not taught really to care for the patient, although you are, obviously. You're taught to treat the patient. Yeah. Yeah. Whereas the assistant,
you don't think about all of the other mechanics that's going on.
The assistant is the one who is the carer of the patient. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then before that, the first port of call is the front of house, which is your receptionist. And I do feel that made me better of understanding my clientele and my patient, you know what I mean?
Any managers that I've worked with, the better ones are the ones that have worked their way up and done it. And you can kind of tell the ones that come in, because I had it once before when I worked for a company. Someone come in quite high up, new to the industry, had the level of managerial experience, but come into a new industry, and kind of what they thought our jobs were and how easy it might have been was very way off. And then when they were setting like processes and kind of standards of what you need to achieve, it really got people's backs up, because it was like
you've obviously never done it.
You've never done it, and you're making it harder, not easier. And I feel like even now, I think us in general, I would never expect someone to do something that I would do myself.
Same.
And like even now, I am in a senior role. I would still roll up my sleeves and clean the bathroom and whatever in the office, like, because you just get on with it. Yeah. And I would never, expect people to, like, if I go and get coffees, I'll get coffees for everyone. Just because I'm in a senior role, I don't expect someone below me to go make my coffee.
Exactly.
We're not those kind of people.
But that's also a mentality as well.
That from
and I think
people.
You would see that difference in someone because of that different mentality, and you'd get different results, whether it's from yourself, whether it's from your clientele, whether it's from your team. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I think you'd get a different reaction and results because of that. I feel.
Yeah. I think that's why I've always done well in leadership and managerial roles, because the way I interact with my team, the way I speak from experience, the way that I'm not expecting things from you that I haven't done, that I've been in that situation. I get how tough it is. But, we need to get to here, or we need to get to there, and approachable. Yeah. I don't think anyone can ever say that they don't feel like they could talk to me.
And it's very similar to the parenting thing of they follow from your actions in a way. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So
the best leaders.
I'm going to take the bin out. Yeah. We all take the bin out.
Yeah.
There is in that kind of thing.
Whenever it's full, you do it.
We're a team here and we're all going to do it. Obviously, I do that part of the job and you do that part of the job. But generally, we all want the same result here. And I think you can notice that when you've got someone part of your team, like, again, whether you're working for someone or you're self-employed or whatever, when you haven't got someone who's a team player.
Yeah.
So I think whether you're self-employed or working for someone, I think a big part of that is to be a team player.
Oh yeah, you've got to be a team player. Like if you work, if you're a one-man band, that can, you know, arguably be a bit different, but you've got to be a team player. And, you know, regardless of hierarchy, and the best managers that I've worked with, and that's definitely things that I've took away, is like there's a difference between a manager and a leader. And a manager micromanages, dictates, tells people, go do this, and they lead with a bit of like fear. Whereas real leaders, it's how can I support you? What do you need from me to do better? And you come from a place of curiosity. Like, I noticed that, you know, your figures seem a little bit off the last couple of weeks. What's going on?
Yeah.
Rather than what you're behind, what you're going to do about it. Like, there's a very big difference. And I think natural leaders, the way in which they lead, like by example, you know, if I'm not expecting you to put in this effort if I'm not willing to as well. And I'm here to support, and what do you need from me? And it's giving someone that kind of safe space. Obviously they have to then take that and go with it. But there is a very big difference between the two. And I'm definitely more of a leader than a manager.
Yeah.
And I've definitely taken that from managers that I've worked with. And tried to emulate that.
Yeah, because I think you learn from experience, don't you, of how you've been treated and taught and spoken to, and you know, whatever, and how you would like to treat people or speak to, because it makes a huge difference of going forward. I would love someone to go and say to me, you know, you were good to work for. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think that's probably one of the nicest things. Or yeah, I love working with you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like we work well together, or, you know, I think it's a nice thing to have said about you.
Well, I think in a leader kind of environment, people actually want to do well for you. So they actually work harder because they want to for you. Okay. They don't want to let you down.
Well, you get better results.
Whereas when you push in another kind of, you think you're pushing in a good direction, but actually people get resented and they don't feel heard and respected, and then they actually work less for you. Yeah. But that is a nice point, actually, that we had someone that joined our business and you know, worked for us for maybe 6 months or more, and, you know, didn't really quite get on with the role and stuff. And I obviously was putting a lot of time and effort into to trying to help get them there. And they did write me a message before their last day and say, you know, I really appreciate your time and effort, like trying to help me. I really did feel like you cared, and that really made a difference. And then I was like, it's nice to just like leave people feeling better than when you found them.
Yeah. Because these things can really stick with you. Yeah. As well. You know how we learn from experiences. There's things that just, you know, you're not learning from it. You just say, I remember that manager, and the job weren't for me, but she was all right, you know. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wish she was in another job role I had, for example. And that's a real big compliment. Yeah. But going on that, just to finish this off, actually, this topic, my last thing, actually, my things anyway, is friends. Friends supporting friends.
Absolutely. That's a good one.
I would give everything to my friends if I could. Yeah. You get what I'm trying to say? Obviously, because they're my friends. But I don't go to work for that. Yeah. You know, I go to work to earn a living. That's why we all work, really, isn't it? When none of us are multimillionaires, we don't do it for a hobby. Yeah. Unfortunately.
Bills to pay.
Yeah, we go to work to earn a living. So we're very lucky that we all support each other, and we shouldn't expect... Yeah. None of us expect it, should I say. And
you mean like freebies and mates rates and those kind of things?
Yeah. So I think but a lot of groups and friends and families
do expect
families
that.
do expect it. You know what I mean? Would expect to go, oh yeah, well, she's my best friend, or she's my auntie or something. So I'm going to get I don't have to pay kind of thing. Which partly you're sort of right, basically. Yeah. Partly you are. I do see that side of it. But on the other side, I feel like that, well, in actual fact, really you should want to pay because it's your whoever. Yeah. So in situations, not with me, but I know some people do it where, okay, so because they don't always give me freebies or discounts, and I know there is cheaper, I'm going to go there, which... Okay, financially, if that's because of financially fine,
you
but
can't
at the
actually
same
afford
time,
it. Yeah,
I would
But if you
I
can
would
afford
expect
it,
you to support your
Yeah.
friends or your family more than anybody first.
Yeah.
And then if they were to give you a little discount or a little freebie, great. You know what I mean? That's great. But initially, the thought process going in is, I'm going to support my family member or friend of a friend who, you know what I mean? Because they are them, and that's that. That's the reason.
Definitely. I think when I was younger, I probably was a bit more naive to that.
Same.
But kind of as I've got older and work and, you know people that have their own businesses, and, you know, it was a thing that really kind of hit the nail on the head is, you know, when you buy something from a big company, it goes towards the owner's second Ferrari. But when you buy from a small business, they've just paid for their daughter's ballet lessons, those things. And it's like, we should absolutely support our friends where possible. It's not always going to be possible. And local
businesses, you're right.
And local businesses as well.
Not just about friends and family. It's you're right, actually.
Local businesses, friends.
And big franchises, you know, like you say, people who are just...
You're just funding, you know, their second holiday or whatever it is. But yeah, we should, and we shouldn't expect discounts and stuff. And I think especially when businesses are starting out, if they're years down the line, they're successful and they can afford to give you a bit of a discount. And again, it should only ever be their choice. You should never begrudge them for not giving you a discount. But especially when businesses are starting off, like, support your friend, give them full price, like, help them get off the ground. And I think something that I did see, God, this was years ago, but it's always stuck with me. We celebrate birthdays, we celebrate Christmas, we celebrate baby showers now, gender reveal parties. When do we ever celebrate someone starting a business?
You're right, you know. You're actually right.
We don't.
We celebrate graduation for education, for these kind of things to come to. But actually when it happens, no, we don't. You're right.
Yeah, we don't actually celebrate our friends supporting starting businesses, and we should like have business showers, everyone come together and, you know, show a way of supporting.
Yeah, like, 1-year-old, my business is 1 year old kind of thing.
Yeah,
we don't do it, do we? I don't.
And even little things like sharing your community on Facebook costs you nothing. And yet it's just seemed like a really like slog of a thing to ask your friends to do that for you. And it shouldn't be. We should really be asking, like, what support do you need? Is there anything that I can do?
Yeah. Well, this is probably why we started what we do.
Yeah.
To get them to connect with, you know, people with businesses or ideas or, you know, these dreams or drives or, you know, things that they want to do, and support each other on doing it. Do you know what I mean?
Either financially support by going and using their businesses and knowing this is a female-led business I want to support, or even just, like you say, sharing
a little share,
that business
a little like.
with liking, commenting, like,
or referring someone else. You might not need that company or whatever that or I don't know, whatever that's being offered, but you could then go, well, actually, someone else might need it. You know what I mean?
Or I've just had a really great experience. All my friends and family, like, I recommend this business. Like, go try it out. Yeah. We definitely don't do that enough.
No, we don't do that enough. And we seem to that's what I'm trying to say. We seem to keep kind of do it so much with big companies and big franchises and people. Again, we talk about being appreciated, that I don't really feel that appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know, and then workers, again, I could be wrong, but again, then workers probably don't, because they're such big companies that, you know, they're just
doesn't always affect them, really.
Tag, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But the smaller businesses, they need that.
And don't get me wrong, some smaller businesses that turn into huge businesses keep that care and that
focus
personal, you know,
on the consumers.
But when it gets to these big when I know I said it before, when things happen and go, because I will complain if I need to complain, because I think people need to know. And Mitch says to me, what's the point? Because this Mr. Big Man at the top is never going to find out.
Yeah.
And he, to be fair, he's probably right in that side of it. You know what I mean?
But in a smaller business, given the feedback, they might take that and then they do better, and then the company and everything gets better.
Yeah, so And
in a society that complains more, like people jump up and complain about a business way more than they support businesses, we should definitely put more time and effort in. And that is a big gap of what I've seen here. And nowadays, it is all about social proof and having a presence online. And that is how we get attention to our businesses. And that is something that we don't do good enough in Spain compared to other countries.
Which is good.
So that's why, like I say, we need to get together. And I want the community of women here to push, you know,
I was going to say
for
it
each
is
other's
good.
businesses.
It is, everything is a lot more online and digital, which is good. So and we do need a lot more of that support. But I am so grateful that actually we've had this idea that we're going to go forward with actually connecting people in person, because I'm not a very digital thing. Even just about, I was talking about furniture the other day, pissing me off that I couldn't see it. Like, I like to see people and talk to people, and you know, and I don't know, it's just how I am. So learning someone who's I don't know. Whichever, you know what I mean? And really getting to know them. And where
I think our generation still appreciates that face-to-face and that group in-person community.
And if we're doing it for local, why wouldn't we all get together? We're all in the same areas. Come on, let's support each other and because
the support can be digital, but the inspiration, the drive, and the support is back in person as well.
Yeah. But even if, as I'm saying, even if it's just 1-2 things that I'm seeing, at least I know really, you know, I've actually touched that person. I've given them a hug. Yeah. You know what I mean? I know. Yeah. That's just how I am, personally. Do you know what I mean? And if we are doing, you know, we're here, and I think a lot of people will feel the same, you know, we're doing this for local people, especially initially. And I think that's the most important thing. We're supporting each other for all our little bits and bobs. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And I've done a lot of business things online and like qualifications and stuff, and you know, even going to Phoenix in Arizona I did the course online, but I went to their in-person event for, I think it was 2-3 days in-person event. Like, that was like electric. You can't get that kind of excitement and motivation and momentum from an online course. Like, it was everyone in a room and speaking to each other that really sets everything on fire.
Such a special opportunity for you to actually even be invited, let alone actually get to go. And again,
so that's what I want to recreate.
Yes, and just on a more, I don't mean that business thing wasn't realistic to get to, because I'm not saying that, but just
more local.
It's here. Yeah. It's going to be 5-10 minutes around the corner.
And it is, because everything that I follow generally is in America.
Yeah, and you know what? People might even know these people but in the areas, but don't realise what their dreams or what they're starting or what they already have done and achieved. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, I'm really excited.
I'm excited.
Really,
I'm excited.
Really excited.
We'll bring you more information about that. So just to wrap up, let me see if there's anything that I want to add to habits to be better in business.
Yeah, because you would have a whole bleeding book.
Yeah, when we kind of wrote a few things down before this, and I did take ages, and then I was like, had to just stop myself because I could go on and on and on.
Yeah, but for sure.
Let me say what I put down. So I've put always stay a learner. I think that's the minimum requirement for being successful. Like, I think there's an acronym key. Keep educating yourself. I think that is, like you said, keeping on top of credentials and techniques and methods is important actually when you're in the health space. But I think in anything, if you continue to learn,
you're right.
You're always going to be more efficient, more effective, and the expert. Yeah. And I think that's definitely, if younger people are watching this, that's one thing that I only learned as I got older in business is don't be good at everything, be an expert in something.
Yes.
So always keep learning.
And also not just for your business or your dream, whatever going forward, but also for yourself. Because I think as much as you're learning, it keeps you that driven, and I just feel like it keeps you driven and focused because your brain's still constantly learning, isn't it?
We've just hired someone in the Costa del Sol, and she's joined us, and she said, I'm just so excited to be learning again.
Oh, that's exciting to hear.
Yeah.
That's really exciting to hear. Not just a job to earn money, but really
excited to learn. And like, I'm taking her through our induction training. She's fully engaged, asking loads of questions, writing things down. Like, it's nice to have someone.
I was going to say, that's like you're perfect.
Yeah, who like is appreciating the work that you do. But always be the learner. I think that's definitely something that I've always naturally been. Like, just look at bloody my list of certificates and things that I've done. Yes. I don't need half of them, but I just have to just keep doing something.
You want to level up.
Yeah, always leveling up. So I think always learning is great. And it doesn't have to be a full-blown master's degree, but even reading a book.
Exactly. I was going to say, it doesn't have to be a full-on course.
Yeah.
Just learn, always learn.
Well, how many times in this do I go, I read this somewhere, I heard that, I watched this video.
But it is,
Like,
it's always learning, isn't it?
Yeah. And I'll try and remember where I hear and learn these things, and I'll share it with you guys if I remember.
You need to do like a key thing. What's it, when you did
like,
back to somewhere.
Yeah. Just want to thank and credit this person for that. So yeah, always learning. I think you said a little bit like this about, not being complacent, but consistency, definitely in sales. If you're in a sales role, if that's the career you want to get into, it's got to be about consistency. A lot of people confuse sales with intensity. The more doors I knock, the more I'll get out of it. It's not, sales is a numbers game to a degree, but if you learn and if you fine tune and if you improve each time,
the results will come with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's consistency over intensity, because you go smash out like a couple of weeks, you'll be like dead by the end of it. Whereas actually the people that stay consistent and stick to a minimum standard of this is what I'm going to deliver. Doesn't matter how I feel. I've got up, I'm tired today. Like even days where I've been absolutely exhausted, like this is still my minimum standard of like 6-7 calls a day. Yeah. I know a lot of people that I've worked with will just get up and, they're closed, or there's no point going anywhere else. And, they could give themselves those excuses. Mm-hmm. Consistency, this is how much I deliver as a minimum per day. And there's actually a 100-hour rule. I don't know if you've heard this, but 100-hour rule, which only works out to 18 minutes a day for a year. If you do that, then you will be 95% better than everybody else in the world at that one thing.
So 18 minutes a day, just say.
So 100 hours.
Of what?
Of whatever it is that you want to learn or get good at.
Yeah.
So if you dedicate 100 hours of learning to one thing, you're going to be 95% better than anyone else that does that, because very few people put in that much dedication and time and effort to get better at something.
When you say that, that's not a lot, is it?
No.
When you started 100 hours, I was like, I'll stop that.
Yeah.
But when you put it to
18 minutes a day and in a year, huge, people underestimate what they can get done in a couple of weeks, a couple of months, but people way underestimate what they can do in 5 years. Mm-hmm. So like people don't want to play the long game anymore, but actually
because everything's so quick fix.
Exactly. But when you don't get those results quickly, that's when people give up, get disheartened. And actually consistent, slow and steady, and that leads me on to the next thing: progress over perfection. A little bit of progress per day, fine tuning. Like I say, sometimes we're average, but if you fine tune a couple of those areas, and it's not because you're bad at that thing, but you could be better.
Yeah.
And if you fine tune a couple of things, you could be significantly better than everybody else, just because you've put time and effort into those things.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah. Well, I think, I don't know if this is actually a common term, but marginal gains is something I actually did a training on with my team a couple of years ago. And it's basically being 1% better a day at the end of the year leads you to be 37% better overall. So little by little, and even in investing money, compounding interest, you invest a little. It doesn't seem like much, but over a long period of time, the graphs go like that and it snowballs, and then all of a sudden it skyrockets. But it takes a long time for you to get to that tipping point, and that's when a lot of people give up before they get to that tipping point,
because they haven't got that,
because they don't see it
steady, but they want that quick fix. Hurry up.
So nothing worthwhile comes fast.
Exactly.
Let's put it that way.
Or is worth it. Usually it's going to take a bit of
time and effort. You mentioned quality already, and I don't think quality is ever an accident. I think quality comes from being intentional, and that's a big word that I've used a lot in trainings recently, is having intention behind what you do. Don't just do it because you've been told it's part of the process. Lead with intention of what it is that you want to get out of this interaction, of this appointment, of this conversation with your client. Be intentional with that, and that all leads to quality. And one thing that I like about quality, it says means doing it right when no one's watching.
Yes.
And I think, like I say, that's ingrained in us. We can't not. That's what we said earlier. Doesn't matter if the bosses don't appreciate it. Like, I can't not. And I think a lot of people cut corners. If nobody's watching, nobody will know. But ultimately, all these little things add up.
But that says to me something more about that person.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Everything that either I've said or you've said about being what makes you better, when it comes down for it, you're doing it for you.
Yeah.
Because of, that you don't want to be that person.
The gratitude and the fulfillment of doing a good job.
Yeah.
And I think I think that's been lost a lot probably with recent generations, because it is more about people's feelings and, you know, or it's money related only. And then you don't get that level of care because not everyone cares about their job.
But as well, it's hard because a lot of things, you know, people are comparing to things that are quick fixes and not real.
Yeah.
With no disrespect, not real, I say career, or do you know what I mean? I don't mean a real job, because I don't mean to be rude, but you know, with all these kind of social media things that are coming in, you know what I mean? I feel like a bit, it's not a good thing to compare against when you've got a certain
so many
dream or
quick
a certain
things now, and it's like, oh yeah, just put these couple of products on drop shipping and you'll be a millionaire, and all these things that sound like people want the most money for the minimalist effort, and there's a lot of that's kind of scamming going around. And I bet there are people that make a lot of money by, you know, they've been lucky at doing these things and now they're trying to sell it. But I think to be successful in the long run, to have sustainable success, you're never going to be able to get the most money from the littlest effort. It's just not.
But I think you've got to be passionate about something anyway to start. You know what I mean? And usually if something's quick, it's not going to something that you're really passionate for, is it? It's just because it's a quick fix.
Yeah, it's about money. Yeah. And I think nowadays, especially like in sales, like I've always been, like, luckily worked in sales company or had sales roles in companies where I've believed that the product that I'm offering is going to help people. I couldn't imagine selling something that I just really didn't give a shit about. Yeah. That I didn't care about, because people feel that authenticity and you can't fake it nowadays.
It matters.
And then the last thing I wrote down was relationships. I think habits to be better in business, people underestimate how, like I say, treating everybody nice, leaving people better than you found them. And even when, you know, things go sideways, having that open communication, treating people with respect. You know, I've known a lot of people that, you know, get rubbed up the wrong way by people and they don't handle it the best. And I don't know, I just feel like it's funny because I've worked in companies where they're like, oh, this person, I'm like, never had a bad interaction with that person. And I think it's just because I generally get on with everybody, and no matter what's happening, whether it's good stuff and bad stuff, it's not to say that, you know, someone hasn't pissed me off or someone hasn't messed up big time. I just deal with it in a way that
I was going to say how you go
that continues those relationships.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, one of them coming back from that is having a comment makeup, like you had someone message you and say, whatever, you know. Yeah, I think that's probably one of the best comments you can get as someone who leads or manages, or
definitely,
you know what, or even just being a team. A player going, I really love working with you. Yeah,
exactly. I think, you know, not to toot my own horn, but I probably had a few people say that to me, like way before, you know, I've got into those senior roles. And that's probably another habit to be better in business, is act like you've already got that role. Act like you're already in that position, because I've always been a helper. Yeah. I think in everything that I do at school, you know, and even in my school reports, natural leader, because I just generally, when I'm in a group setting, and I don't have to be the manager and my role is to help that person, I would help that person anyway.
Well, I think, like you say, I think you can have authority but be approachable.
Yeah. And I think that's probably helped me be the person that's considered for that role, because I'm already half doing it. Yeah. I'm not being paid for it. I'm not being recognised for it, or I am, but unofficially recognised for it. And I think a lot of people want the next role, but they're not putting any effort in to do it. Well, when I get it, then I'll do it. I think sometimes you actually have to put in that time and effort like that, before you get to that position. Results.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I would say that act and show up like you've already got the role that you're going for.
Yeah. Nice.
Would help you get
any little quotes? I'm waiting for a quote from you, Bill. I like it.
Well, I kind of gave it away a little bit, like the one of quality means doing it right when no one's watching. That was my little bit of a quote. And discipline leads to good habits. Habits lead to consistency. Consistency leads to growth.
Say that again. Say that one more time. Right, one more time for the pod.
One more time for the pod. Right. So discipline leads to habits. So the more you're disciplined and the more you're stricter at your daily habits, your habits, what you end up doing every day, is what leads to the consistent results. And the consistency, if you stick to it, is what's going to lead to your growth.
Well, I'm going to put that into life, not just business.
Wow, I think a lot of it crosses over, like you say.
I agree. I like that, because it's true.
Business, parenting, life, interactions, humans, relationships, all of it. I think a lot of what we spoke about to be better in business is generally just being a good person and being a better person.
It is, isn't it?
And then that will help you in business.
Yeah, I like it.
So hopefully you liked that.
Yeah.
And if there's any habits that you feel has really skyrocketed your results, your performance, your growth in business.
Or ruined it.
Or maybe something you realised later was really important and until you adopted it.
Were too soft or too whatever,
Too cocky sometimes.
Yeah, who knows?
Let us know your habits for being better or the ones that you wish you'd learned earlier. And we'll share it next week.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to hearing it.
Yeah, right. Well, thanks for joining us for another week, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We're up to 76 subscribers now.
Keep liking and subscribing. Click.
Quite a lot of likes as well and views. So the aim, I'm going to set us a little goal here.
Oh, should.
I want to get to 100,000 views by my birthday.
Okay. We've got this.
I've said it out loud.
Right.
So please support us and share with your friends and family. Yeah. And we appreciate it.
Like, subscribe, share.
Bye, guys.
Adios.